Okay, guys, I'm going to stop screen sharing because it's almost 8 p.m. and as has become traditional, we're going to show our respects to all of our healthcare workers and everything else. This is apparently the last time that they want everyone doing this, but for the moment, let's show that we appreciate everyone with a round of applause. So let's give everyone a good hearty round of applause. It seems to become a tradition right now that around the world everyone is saying thank you. That's not a bad tradition to keep going. So there have been a bunch of people doing awesome things for us in terrible times, and a lot of people have paid bad prices for it. Nonetheless, it does seem that going to stop that right now. It does seem, however, according to the news, that there have been calls to stop it from this week. So that might be the last time that we did that. However, time for us to get back to what this call is all about. So let me go back to sharing my screen. And okay, so a little bit. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the call. My name is Roger Garth. If you're listening to this for the first time, it's my pleasure to be your host on the call. In the space of the next 15 or 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk about a way that you can actually make the most of the situation that we all find ourselves in right now. A way that you can learn a skill that you can maybe take beyond the COVID-19 situation to make some extra money and possibly change your life for the future. And in fact, on this call, we're going to do something slightly differently. And I'm going to introduce you to someone who's doing exactly that and is going to tell you a little bit more about how that's going for him. For the moment, however, I'm going to stick with the main presentation. So the main presentation starts with a question, because more and more people these days really are starting to feel that they're just not in control of their own lives. Well, what if it could be different? How would you feel if you could have complete control back over everything that you do? We know we can't control the situation out there right now, but everything else, well, that's what we're all about right now. This guy actually wrote a book about it. His name is Robert Kiyosaki, and he wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, he came up with a diagram, and it goes like this. It's called the cash flow quadrant. And in it, he said that 60% of the people in the world have a job. They work for someone else. Another 35% are self-employed. They actually own their own job, if you like. They still have to go out to work. They've got to put the hours in. And if they don't put the hours in, they're not going to get paid. But nonetheless, they're self-employed. On the other side of the quadrant, they're the business owners. Now, the business owners are the people who own bigger businesses. I'm talking about people who employ hundreds and thousands of people. And if they don't go to work, the place will continue to keep running. Doesn't matter whether they're there or not. They can take a week off, a month off, a year off. Money will still keep coming in because the business carries on running. And then there are the investors, the people who put their money to work for them. They don't need to actually work because their money's just doing it all, and money makes more money. You've heard that expression all of your life. The interesting thing is that on the left-hand side of that equation, 95% of the people in the world manage to control just 5% of the money in the world. Whereas on the other side of the equation, 5% of the people in the world control 95% of all the money. So the question is it possible to move from one side of that equation to the other? And the answer is yes, it is possible if you know what you're doing. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to show you how you can do exactly that. So welcome to the foreign exchange, the forex market. This is the biggest single market in the world. Last year, there was a statistic released by Bloomberg, and they said this market was worth $6.6 trillion every single day. That's just a vast, vast number. And to try and put that into some kind of context for you, I haven't worked for anyone else now for more than 18 years, but the last job that I had, I worked for a car manufacturer. If you think of every car manufacturer in the world, whether that be Ford, Mercedes, BMW, Jaguar, Chevrolet, Rolls-Royce, whoever it may be, add them all together. Then if you think about oil manufacturers, if you think about movie companies, if you think about the music industry, put them all together and collectively, they still don't come to $6.6 trillion a day. It is the single biggest market on the planet. So that's what's available. And that's a market that's actually open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So no matter whereabouts in the world you live, and we've got people on this call who are dialing in from Europe, we've got people dialing in from North America, we've got people dialing in from Australia, India, all over the world that are all taking part of this, and they can all take part at a time that works for them. So let's give you a quick idea of how it works. Excuse me. Forex currencies are traded in pairs. It's always a base currency and a quote currency, and it goes like this. Imagine we're talking about a trade between the Great British Pound and the US dollar. If the pound goes down in price, the dollar must go up in price because they're traded in pairs. And similarly, if the pound goes up in price, then the dollar must go down in price. It's a very, very simple process. The beauty is, what it means is that because money is changing hands and it's moving from place to place, this market doesn't suffer from the economy in the way an awful lot of other markets do. A couple of months ago, when COVID-19 first hit, the stock market took a phenomenal hit. They reckon 30% of the market value was wiped out of the market overnight. Billions upon billions of dollars disappeared overnight. The Forex market didn't happen. Some currencies went down in price and other currencies went up, but the money still kept turning around. The market still kept going, and that's the important thing for us. So how do you actually take part in this? Well, to become part of it, what you need to do is learn about it. So we partnered with a company called IM Academy. IM Academy is the biggest educational platform on the planet when it comes to these kind of products. We actually have our own Forex Academy that will teach you to understand the markets, understand how things work, understand how trading works, and how you can actually participate in it. Similarly, we have what we call our High Frequency Academy, which teaches high frequency Forex. And we have another academy that teaches digital currencies as well. The way we teach it is by a platform that we call Go Live. It's like our own online TV channel. And on that TV channel, you log in and you get to watch people trade live as you sit there. And as they're there, you can actually watch them participate in a trading session. And you can actually follow them. You can place the same trades that they place. The beauty is, if you place the same trade that they place, you get to keep any profit that you make. So you get to earn as you learn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing the screen right now, and I'm actually going to show you the back office of it, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So if I share my screen again, this time with a web browser, I'm going to type in IM Center, and we're going to log in here. When I want to log in, all I need to do in the morning is I come to IM Center, click login, and it's going to take me into the academy. This is like my home office. This is where I get to see everything. So in the first instance, when I log in, I can go straight to training, and I can find out all the bits and pieces that I need. I can go to the strategies section where I can find all the software that I need to actually participate in it. Or I can do the simple way that we've just talked about, and I can go to Go Live. This is the TV channel. Now, when I click on this, the screen's going to change in a second. And when it changes, the first thing you're going to notice, apart from the happy smiling couple that's going to appear on our screen in a second, will be that the sessions are available in multiple different languages, because as I said, we're a global business. So literally the first thing that you get to do is choose a language. And we've got a bunch of different languages there because we're a global company. Then all you need to do is scroll down and pick a channel. So I'm going to pick on HFX. This is the High Frequency Academy. And this is the one that a lot of people are getting very, very excited about right now. So as I click on here, I then get basically like a TV timetable, if you like. And we can see here exactly which educators are on which day. So we can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go to Thursday. And if we go down to Thursday, we can see this is a session that finished a couple of hours ago with Millie Mills. And we had some absolutely astonishing results that came out from that. And you just go through and you pick the session that you want, see who's on at a time that suits you anywhere around the world. Now, as I click across, I can actually see that there are 2 educators that are actually on right now. And if I look at these and I click on, that one's actually crypto. So probably not the best one to give you as the example, but nonetheless, it'll give you an idea of what you see. So what happens is you click into something like this, screen's going to go big here. You have a live chat here, so you can actually talk to the traders as they're on. And when this loads through, as it's doing right here, right now, we'll be able to log in and we'll be able to see the trader live. So you can see the charts appeared right now. The trader will talk through what he sees on screen, and he'll explain why he's taking a trade and what it is that he's actually.
But if it's going to come down that low,
so you can actually. I'm going to listen for a second. I'm going to stop for a second and just let you.
So this is what I'm looking at. Like I said, I would not put orders there, because just putting orders there, you're setting yourself up for, if they want to come down and take out these highs, you're done. You bought $300 too high. Okay.
Okay.
So the ideal thing here would be,
just because this one now isn't relevant to what we're talking about, but you get the idea. You actually get to watch a trader explain what he's doing and why. And just as you saw on there, they'll tell you what the danger points are, what you shouldn't do, as well as what you should do. But then when they see a trade that they do like, they'll stop and they say, okay, we're going to go on this and we're going to place this. And they will tell you precisely what you need to do. All that you need to do then is simply copy it and you make money, nice and simple. Now, what I'm going to do right now is a little bit different from what we've done in the past, because what I want to do is, instead of continuing straight on with my session, I'm going to speak to someone who's actually doing this right now, and I'm going to let them explain exactly how they're doing it and how it's working for them. So I'm going over to a friend of mine who lives in Chorley in Lancashire. His name's Ed. If I just unmute you, Ed. You there?
Good evening, all.
How are you doing, Ed?
I'm all right, thank you.
Fabulous. Ed, I'm going to give people a little bit of a background about yourself, first of all, so people know who you are and what you do, first of all.
Certainly can. Back in 2009, I bought into a printing franchise, one of the largest printing franchises in the world. Been running that, as I say, for 11 years now. Last year, before this fun and games, we were turning over just under 300,000 a year, and I employ 5 people. So,
right. Okay. So, how long have you actually been with us, with IM Academy?
I actually signed up, I think, the second week in December last year, having followed Simon for quite a while. I knew Simon from a previous opportunity many years ago, and I also started seeing all your postings on the Facebook page. So right. That's how I started.
Okay, right. Okay, so first of all, before I go any further, have you ever actually traded before you actually got involved with IM Academy?
I'd never traded at all before I started with this setup. No, not at all. Okay.
So would you say it's all been plain sailing along the way?
I wish I could say that. Now, as you obviously know a chunk of the background and things like that.
Yes.
No, it hasn't been plain sailing. I bust 3 accounts in about 3 months due to all sorts of circumstances, similar pain that you received, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, with anybody that's on the call, I'm not talking about a few £100s either. However, I do tend to look at it in light of my business, that 9 months into my business, I'd got a director's loan of 95,000 in the business, which meant I had invested that sort of money into building a business. So I view it as an investment, but no, it hasn't all been plain sailing.
I mean, the reality of it is, and that's what I'm really trying to get across on this call right now, because you hear of an awful lot of these calls when people get brought onto these calls and exposed to an opportunity for the first instance, and everyone likes to tell them that it's all going to be plain sailing and life's going to be wonderful and it's all honey and roses, and we're possibly setting people up for a fall. And I think it's only fair that we give people an honest picture of what it's like, because if you're warned about this in advance, you can prepare yourself emotionally for it and you can take it. Now, sadly, you and I, we weren't pre-warned for it. We sort of took the blows as they came along, but you dealt with it. What would you say has been the hardest lesson that you've had to learn?
I think a lot of people on the call won't know, but when we first were running the winner's circle, we had a massive success, and that was largely due to the fact that we never placed stop losses on currency pairs. However, that was great, and obviously cycles do come round, but what happened was, with various circumstances that took place around the world, certain currency pairs went south. I mean south big style. And what happens when that happens, if you can't keep propping up your account, you get taken out. They just cancel out your pairs that you're into. And as I say, there were some big pairs that went, and we got caught again, didn't we, in London? So
okay. So, but as far as the lesson is concerned, we know that happened. What positive did you take out of it? Because we took the negatives. We took the negatives in the bank account.
Yeah, we did.
What positives did you take?
But the positives were that we've continued to develop in what we do, both as individuals and as Winner's Circle, and that is always going to happen in life. It's a normal process. It's a learning curve. So I've taken every negative, I've turned into a positive in the fact that I'm learning all the time, and will continue to do so.
So what do you say is the biggest benefit you've had then? So we talked about the biggest negative. Benefit.
The biggest benefit is making money fast. Certainly with what we're doing with HFX, and it means that I've got the freedom to do what I want when I want. I've had spells in the last week where I've traded for about 15-20 minutes, and that's more than enough for the day. Don't need to do any more. And I'm talking 4 figures, 4-figure wins
In 20 minutes?
Yeah, can be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the reality of it is that there's been a learning curve, but nonetheless, that's turned around. I know when it came to the beginning of the coronavirus situation, that hit your business, your print business. What did you decide to do then with your time that's made massively. This change possible?
We closed down at the end of March, towards the end of March, so we've been closed for about 9 weeks now. In the month before, my sales had dropped 40%. April, they were 95% down. So we just took the view to just close the business down, put people on furlough. So I literally have structured my whole days and weeks around learning about trading.
Okay.
And that's what I've done literally for the last 7 or 8 weeks. And I'm now in a position where I'm only 5% along the journey, but I've got something now that nobody can take away from me, and it will stay part of that. Whatever happens with the business now, I will continue to trade, and I will probably, fortunately, because I can do, because it's my business, I'll work my hours around that.
That was the question I was going to lead to, and that is, you and I were talking the other day, and we said about the difference that it was going to make to your business after COVID-19, and what's going to become more important for you when we go back.
Trading, definitely. I've had the conversation with my good lady as well, and she understands. I'm 61 years of age. I was working sort of 50 hours a week in the print business, and in a day I can earn more in this operation than I could in a month. I'm probably the poorest paid person in the business, and anybody who's had a business, everybody thinks you're loaded, but the reality is all your staff get sorted and you end up with what's left.
Yep, been there. Okay, all right. So what would you say you like best about IM Academy? What makes this the place to learn for you?
Purely because I can earn as I learn. I mean, I've taken advantage of many of the live sessions and gone over a lot of the favourites as well, and I've still got a lot more to do. But it's like going back to school, but I'm learning all the time. So I just love it. I like the concept anyway, but I just like the fact that I can go on and find what suits me best. because every strategy is slightly different.
Okay, right, leads me straight into my favorite question then. What's your favorite strategy? Which one do you like the best?
If you'd asked me this 3 or 4 days ago, I would have probably said cash trap. However, cash trap can be quite boring. In a lot of parts of the day, you can only use 2 currencies because USD CAD is below 70% for a chunk of the day. It's all right on certain times of the day. And because of the success with Millie, I mean, who I think personally is the best trader that I've been with at the moment, I would say probably simple sniper or simple scalper, which is what I'm now working on to try and get better at.
Okay, fabulous. All right. Okay, just before we sort of wrap things up, where would you see yourself in another 6 months with this business now?
I'm working towards Matty's week of trading, and I plan to go into that with at least a 6-figure trading account. And we've had a conversation. We both like our cars. Yes, it's a dream, but it's important. It's on my phone. It's on my iPad. If I have the week there that I would hope to, I'll be buying myself a second-hand Ferrari California.
In 1 week?
Yeah, that's what I'm planning.
Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. All right. One last question just before we wrap it up. If I were to ask you for one tip that you could give to anyone that's looking to join IM Academy today, what would the tip be?
Anybody joining, it's 2-pronged, but they should go and look through the academies and find out which system suits them best. And anybody going into trading when they've set an account up, try it in demo first. Because trust me, when you get to a level where I'm already at and you're trading hundreds of pounds a trade, you don't like to lose. You don't like to lose.
No, you really don't. Ed, thanks for that. Appreciate it very, very much.
Not a problem.
Okay, guys, I hope that was useful because we wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go back to my presentation just for a minute, just to finish this off now. And then if you've got any questions, you're going to get the opportunity to ask them. So the biggest question that we have right now is going to be... Okay. Someone else has got their phone unmuted. So whoever's got their phone unmuted, could you do me a favor and please mute it? Okay. So question right now. You've heard from Ed. You've heard Ed's story. You've heard me going through it. And I've shown you in the back office. I've shown you where the traders are and where the educators are. Question is, how do you get started? Well, getting started, very simple and straightforward. Just as Ed said, you're paying for an education here. You're paying for, this is a bit like taking a university degree, but an awful lot cheaper. So to get started, whether you go for our Forex Academy, our HFX Academy, or our DCX Academy, costs all the same. Costs you $235 US to get started, so that's about £190. And then a monthly subscription of $175, which again is about £140. Now, as far as the subscription is concerned, I hear people turn around and say to me, well, what does it cost? Well, the question shouldn't be what does it cost? The question should be what can you make? And you've already heard Ed say 4 figures in 1 day is what you can make. So the cost is irrelevant, really. However, if you don't like the idea of paying $140 a month, £140 a month, you don't have to. All you need to do is introduce 2 friends to the business. And if you introduce 2 friends to the business, your subscription is free. Ed's already done that. I've done that. Great many others have done the same thing as well. You heard Ed talking about the HFX Academy. Myself, I tend to prefer the Forex Academy. You do have the opportunity, if you wish, to get access to every single one for just $100 a month more. That gives you access to more opportunities to make more money. Very simple and very straightforward. So that's really where we go to. One thing I would say is that once you get started, we actually give a 7-day money-back guarantee. So really, you've got nothing to lose. Give this a go. Find out if you like it. You won't know until you try it. Find out if you like it. And if you like what you see, great. If you don't like what you see, we'll give you your money back. Can't say fairer. as I said, bring 2 people in, you don't have to pay that subscription anymore either. So that's pretty much it. I am going to stop that for a second, however, because there's one more person that I want to introduce you to. Now, this person, do this and I can find out where that noise is coming from. No. The one other person that I want to introduce you to has also been trading HFX and getting some amazing results just today. He's a very, very good friend of mine. In fact, he's the guy who introduced me to the business. He's my sponsor in the business. We've been friends for nearly 30 years now. His name's Simon Brooks. Simon, can you put your camera on?
Good evening.
Good evening. Simon, give people an idea about how the business has affected you and what you think of this business right now.
Well, as you know, I've been in the industry for basically around 32 years. And it's always with things like pills, potions, lotions, tablets, skincare, face cream, coffee, whatever. And with any of those products, you can never, ever make a significant income. Today, in about 43 minutes, no, it wasn't. It was about 37 minutes. I made, I won't tell you the amount, but I made thousands and thousands and thousands just on a go live session. Now that's not me guessing the market. That's not me thinking, oh, let's take a punt. We think it's going to be this. No, this is following one of our expert traders, one of our educators, who's, in my opinion, my favorite trader. She is absolutely amazing. So if anybody is brand new listening to this presentation right now, you need to seriously be thinking, I think this is something I can do. Because there's 2 questions that's going to go through your mind. Number 1, is it for me? You're never going to know unless you try. Number 2, can I do it? We got people from factory workers to teachers to doctors to solicitors. Makes no difference of your background. Makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. But we work it as a team and as a family. No one's left sort of like that out there on their own. So you're going to be in business for yourself, but you will never, ever be by yourself. We work it as a unit. We work it as a team. We work it as a family. So for me, it works 100% of the time for 100% of the people that give it the time. Roger, back to you.